Welcome, everybody, to the Dreamers Podcast. Wow, my brain is like fried right now. I'm the I'm the host. I gotta own this. I am exhausted, Matt. I haven't slept.
After 250
much.
episodes, that's not surprising.
Yeah, 250. I'm Joe Pardo. That's right. I'm Joe Pardo, and this is the Dreamers Podcast. This is episode 250, and I'm joined by my sidekick, Matt Borelli. Matt, how are we doing tonight? I hope you're doing better than me.
I guess so. It seems that way.
Yeah, it would see that way. I am pretty wiped out. This was a really eventful weekend for me. My wife had a surprise birthday party because I turned 30 back on Thursday, and on Saturday there was a party, and some of my friends from New Hampshire came all the way down to be here, and then they stayed Sunday, and they just left this morning. And so, of course, when I don't see somebody for almost like a year, you gotta stay up and talk all night and then deal with Ava and all that. So yeah, it was definitely worth it though. I mean, I'm exhausted, and finally Ava's sleeping. That's why she's not here right now. But it's yeah, 250 episodes, Matt. 250 episodes.
So how old were you when you started recording the Dreamers Podcast?
Well, it was in 2014, I have it down as May 19th, which makes sense because that was a Monday. So I think it was let me see here. Of course, this doesn't have a date on it. Oh wait, does it? Maybe it's on the inside. May 3rd. So May 3rd, I ran this race, and got the Compass. It was the Everest Challenge down in Disney. It no longer exists. And the race, not the part, not Disney. Yeah. So I went from that on a plane to running the show in 2 weeks. So I'm looking at the calendar. So that was on the 3rd, and I launched 2 weeks late. Well, a full 2 weeks later. So yeah, the 19th was when I launched the show. May 19th, 2014. So I guess I was it was 2 years ago. 2 years, yeah, like 2 years ago. So I guess I was 28 at the time. 28, yeah. And then we've ran 250 episodes in under 2.5 years. I mean, the 2.5 year mark is like November, right? May to 6. Yeah, 5 plus 6 is 11. Math. Yeah. So it's under 2.5 years. Did 250 episodes. And actually now there's like no signs of stopping, because now I'm actually bringing a second episode on a week for all those that have been following along. I'm doing topic episodes on Friday, and I've been gearing up to write my third book. But once that starts to subside a little bit, I might be bumping it up to 3 or 4 days a week, because I've been doing these YouTube videos with Ava, and they're topic based, so 3 to 7 minutes long, and it's just been like a really awesome ride to do this. So I'm so glad that you were able to be here, Matt, to record. I'm glad that it happened, so it wasn't a 250th episode was a topic episode. But yeah, it's just wild to think like you start something and now you're 250, and before you know it'll be a 500. In fact, we'll probably get to 500 pretty quick if I start ramping back up with the addition of the YouTube videos. I just want a quick shout out to Michael Wolf and Martin. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Cheval, thank you so much. Yeah, tomorrow, right now we're recording live on Facebook Live. I mention that. You can get there from like facebook.com/superjoepardo. I'm not sure if my video is like cutting out or anything, because like I'm watching it live on Facebook, Matt, and I'm like freezing every which way as we go. So Matt, it's fitting too to talk about this with you, because like growing up, we we were really, or maybe not so much you, but I know I was like really into the idea of like, why don't we have like a video game website? You know, we're where we write articles and reviews and all that stuff. And I mean, I did a little bit of that, but never like to the level of what I've accomplished here at this show.
You know, and it's definitely become more popular. I can think of a couple different sites, most notable being like Hardcore Gaming 101 is a site that's dedicated purely to nostalgic video game reviews, and their whole business model is operating off of donations from Patreon. So, you know, and of course you've got stuff like the Angry Video Game Nerd. He does all these, you know, retro shows. Retro Gamer Mag. I mean, it's retro is in as far as games go, and it's certainly, you know, and these guys are it's their primary, you know, mode of business. For example, you know, James Rolfe, who does the Cinemassacre and Angry Video Game Nerd. I mean, that's his full-time job.
Yeah,
it
is.
But back when we were thinking about doing it, I don't think either of us could have imagined like, you know, actually turning that into a business. It's like, oh, this would be a great idea. Like, you know, I love it, so cool. What an awesome dream. It's like, it's not practical. You know, it's we're not even going to.
No,
so who knows?
it's
Things
not.
could have gone differently if I don't know. I don't know how we would have made money off of it, but maybe we could have laid the foundation at least.
Well, you know, we would have been so early on. I mean, when we were talking about doing that, you're talking like mid to late 90s, 97, 98, 99. And the thing is, we had the time to do it too because we were kids. We could have totally did it. We could still have like one of the longest running gaming websites to date, and we just didn't do it, man. It's a shame. Apparently the video is cutting in and out on Facebook Live, but apparently audio is good. So thank you for updating me on that, Michael Wolf, because I can't listen to myself at the same time as. I mean, I can only take so much Joe Pardo myself, so I can't listen and watch and talk at the same time. It's just a little too much. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my video or why it's cutting out. I don't know if the internet's slow or something, but I'm sorry, you want to say something?
I was going to say, I mean, tonight's technical glitches aside, what would you say has been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome over the history of the show?
Yeah, these it would be myself. I did a lot of editing when I first got started. I spent so much time editing, hours and hours endlessly, with this idea that, well, if I make my guests sound good, then they're going to want to share the show and it's going to be amazing and everyone's going to love it. And that, you know, didn't really end up being the case. So
yeah, I suppose, you know, having to take that much time to make the perfect episode that somebody's going to listen to in the car. You get all these other distracting sounds going on. Like, they're not really going to appreciate. I spent hours, you know, editing every single aspect of it. It's like, look, let me just get it out.
To make art.
Right. You know, it's more content as opposed to, like, 3 super refined episodes as opposed to, like, all right, I got 15 out this week, and they're all of decent quality. Just, you know, keep cranking them
They
out.
sound good.
Yeah.
You know, I know one of the other obstacles that I had was having a show that wasn't long enough for some people. I know some of my friends who listen, they're like, you know, the show needs to be like 10 to 15 minutes long. When I was running shows that were only 30 minutes, and the reason I was running them 30 minutes was because it was less to edit. Since I stopped worrying about editing, we've done episodes, Matt, where the whole episode with the interview is like 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to listen to. But if you're really serious about this, if you're really serious about, you know, accomplishing a dream, pressing forward with what it is that, you know, is important to you, then what you need to do is make time for it. You know, it's so easy to like just get lost in that idea that like it's just gonna happen for me one day. You know, I once thought that with DJing. I mean, if you look behind me, there's turntables here, and unfortunately I haven't been able to touch them very much in the last 2 years because I've been so busy running this thing called a business, this life, this show, this everything. Yeah, it's it is really it's really important that like you prioritize the things that matter the most to you. But oh, I see why we're cutting out on Facebook. It's actually telling me encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset, which is weird because I guess you can't change it midstream, so I guess it just is what it is. Shout out to Beatrice Feeney, who was one of one of my first interviews on the show. Actually, she was on very very early. I think I don't quite remember who introduced us. Yeah, July 22nd, 2014 was her episode. It was episode number 33, which, so I gotta say, so I've been going back, Matt, and I've been converting all of the episodes of Dreamers Podcast into YouTube videos so that people can find them and so people can listen to them. Hey, what's up, Jimmy Horn? So people can find them and listen to them on YouTube. And, going back, I've done the first 45 episodes up to YouTube, and you can get there from superjoepardo.com/tube, TUBE. And it's just been like such a trip down memory lane because like these interviews, I haven't listened to them since I edited them for the most part. There's been a couple episodes I went back, but it's just crazy because like it really does feel like just yesterday, even though I'm 250 episodes in. I mean, not every episode's an interview episode, and now with these mini episodes, I've been having so much fun with those. Not just because I get to share it with Ava and have like a interaction with her, but getting to share like I have a spreadsheet, right, of 250 different topics that we've either kind of we've talked a little bit about on the show before, or topics that I just haven't gotten to talk about, or topics that come up from like watching a movie or something, like a thought that I have, and so getting to do these mini episodes is going to be awesome. But I'm like bouncing around. I am really exhausted, so I apologize for this, but I'm just so appreciative that so many people so early on jumped on the idea that I was going to do this show that wasn't based on a super niche. Like, oh, this is a show about cooking, but only cooking with chicken. This is the show that where we only cook with chicken, and that's it. Like, there's no steak here. There's no other, this isn't the vegetarian show. This isn't the vegan show. This is chicken. Like, we love chicken, and chicken loves us, and people that gravitate to that idea. But this overarching like philosophy of people that just love what they do, are doing what they love, and they can connect with other people who they're not doing the same things, but they can connect on that level of like, wow, I can learn a lot from this person, even though I have zero idea what they're talking about when they talk about the technical aspects of the thing that they do versus what I do. And so it's really, really special. And I learned that really early on. It was one of my guests and very good friends, Jeanette Pellegrini. I think she was like episode 16 or something like that, or I don't know, 30, or I don't know, something like that. If you go back, you can find her. She told me, like, she's like, I didn't know anything about DJing, but like I connected with what that guy was saying because I'm in photography and we apparently deal with a lot of the same things. And how he deals with it is different than how I deal with it. So it's great to learn from somebody who's doing something like in the same vein, but totally different. It's also been great to give a platform to people. And that's something that I've had to learn too, Matt, over 250 episodes. It's like the show is a platform for other people to come and to take part in like basically what has become a community of people. I mean, with so many interviews and so many supporters, it's been absolutely amazing. And we've built this amazing community of people that have been guests on the show and fans of the show. from all over, actually all over the world, because I don't just get listens here in America, but like I have a pretty decent UK following, and apparently I have a growing Australian following as well, according to my the download stats. So I'm just really grateful for that, because like the show is basically like a business / entrepreneur show, but it's not like in the sense that everybody else does that hardcore, like this is a marketing show, so we have marketers on the show, or this is a that aspect of entrepreneurs, because everyone loves to throw that word around, but like to me, like these people are just people that are living their dreams, and we can learn so much from each other, and I've learned so much from doing this show. I mean, one of the reasons I started it was because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And so this show has helped me figure out quite a few aspects of not just being able to do this show as like the main anchor of my boat of what I do, but just in general, like connecting with people. And like early on, I told my dad when he asked, like, well, what is it that you want to do? I'm like, look, I just want to write, like, when I go to the doctor's office and it says, like, occupation, I want to write Joe Pardo there. Like, I want to be able to write on that paper Joe Pardo twice, and one of them is going to be in the occupation. So, and that's not to say, oh, well, entrepreneur or this or that. Like, it's just the things that I want to do, connecting to people that get it, that understand it. And it's not just Disney people, and it's not just this type of people or that type of people, but people from all around the world that get it, that there's more to life than money, there's more to life than health, there's more to life than people, there's more to, like, there's so many different facets, and we're just like a piece of it. And just getting to revel
Yeah, revel
in that that awesomeness. Yeah, I'm so thankful for all the people that have been on this journey with me, because it hasn't been easy at all. Plenty of times, like on the couch in the afternoon, thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I should be at work. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And it's the people that have gotten it, and the people that have been on this journey with me, whether they realize it or not, that really has helped me through this whole process. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to start the pre-show here, like what we're doing now, because it gives me an opportunity to like talk about myself, and not that that's all I want to do is talk about myself, but like to follow my own journey, because like having a couple episodes, like before we started doing the pre-show, there was only I think 3 or 4 episodes with me in it where like I was the one being interviewed, or a monologue. I did 2 Beyond the Curtain episodes where it's like I'm the focal point of this episode, and it's just me talking, and I mean, I know obviously it's me talking most of the time in the pre-shows, and if Matt, if you want to say something, all you do, you just put your hand up. It's like school.
No, you're on a roll. I don't want to interrupt.
Well, that's the sign of a great co-host, that they or even a host in general, knowing when to just shut up and let it flow. But even when I'm rambling and can't see the path in front of me, So yeah, I just really grateful for the people that have been on this journey with me, and even when I didn't know where I wanted to go, and then bringing in the pre-show, like I was saying, having this ability to give myself the opportunity to document my own journey without having to do like a whole separate show called the Joe Pardo Show, where it's like that's what I do. We morphed it. We've done things like Latter Day, where I would tackle a topic with a guest co-host. That was awesome, and I know quite a few people that really love those. I know people that loved the Beyond the Curtain. So it's like everything's just kind of come together. It's just a matter of like, and keeping it fresh for myself, right? Because I get bored, and that's one of the chief inspirations for the show was like, here's a show where I won't get bored because I'm talking to somebody different with a different background, different everything, every week in and week out. So I didn't have that opportunity to be like, okay, let's talk about computer games. Well, I love computer games, or I love Disney. But by 10, 15 episodes in, I'm like, all right, I don't really feel like talking about this anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you said a lot of things. A couple things that stood out were, one is when you're laying there on the couch and you're telling yourself, "Oh, I should be doing this," or I really should be doing that. It's like, it always reminds me of the not even voices that are tending to be negative, but just the thought that, well, other people that are older than me, or been doing this for longer, they I automatically assume they know better. So I like hear their voices tell me, "Oh, I should be doing a traditional job," or I should be, anything that's kind of taking you away from your dream. And that's the kind of stuff you have to learn to shut out. And it reminds me, I was just watching a video the other day. Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing a quick Facebook Live thing, and he ended it with, I
didn't watch it, but I did see that he had done that.
And to summarize what he says, like, I came to this country, and he's like, I had all these attractors. Oh, you talk funny, and you got no background, no experience. What are you gonna do? What do you got? He's like, and I just kept telling myself, I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing. I want to be, the number one. And he's like, so my voice became the only voice that mattered. It's not that you can't pull from other people, but don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not good enough, or this is stupid, or you're gonna fail, or even yourself, because a lot, you get that negative voice, in the back of your mind. Sometimes, your own worst enemy at times, especially when things are tough.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to do what it is that you want to do.
I think you've obviously come along with 250 episodes. I think it's safe to say you've you know who to listen to at this point.
Well, yeah, listen to myself. Right. If I listen to other people too much, or followed too many other people and what they're doing, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'd be too worried to make sure that I fit in with what their perspective is. And it's, I've written about this in my book. It's having multiple perspectives, being able to see it. Like, you might not agree with it, but at least you can understand, like, okay, this is where somebody's coming from. I mean, to me, that's an invaluable skill that takes time to learn, to put yourself aside and remove yourself from a situation enough where it's like, I don't have to be angry about it just because I don't agree with it.
Right.
Let's see it from, like, why somebody else would think that. It might be silly to me, but at least at the same time, like, I can understand it.
Yeah, you want to be the innovator, not the follower. I mean, you have to be the one that's generating new ideas, not just, what's everybody else doing? Let me grab a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and I'll throw it together. And
there's a good reason I don't watch a lot of TV, Matt.
I'm just gonna
or consume a lot of
one of many
stuff.
You want to stand out, and listening to yourself, and not, I don't want to call them haters, but ignoring the doubters, I guess, is
Well, one thing, I'm going to do a mini episode about this. The idea that that when I do watch stuff, I'm not consuming it. Like, and I don't know if most people are doing this or not, but, like, I don't consume things so much as I'm studying things. And it doesn't matter if it's an entertainment show, a documentary, like watching America's Got Talent was the first time I'd ever watched a full season of America's Got Talent. It's the first time I watched more than like 1 or 2 episodes in a whole season of that show. And I have such an appreciation for the editing that goes into that, the care that goes into that is such a huge production, and all I'm doing is I'm studying it. Like, sure, it's entertaining to a certain extent and all, but like, I'm studying it because I want to know, and I want to figure out all the tricks that they've done, that they've figured out over 11 seasons of doing a show to make it what it is. It's, that's how I see things, is I'm constantly studying it, and I'm going to do a whole episode talking about more specifically, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but look for that episode. I don't know if it's this week or next week. I haven't recorded these Fridays. Excuse me. Unlike these interviews, my Friday episodes are not recorded that much ahead of time. So the interviews are usually 2 to 3 months out, but these Friday episodes, because they're so quick, it's like I just turn on the camera and me and Ava rock it. So yeah, listening to yourself really is a key part. It's something that I do, and it's something that I didn't do that, like, I always did it, but at the same time I always, before leaving to do this show, but I didn't leave to do the show, but from starting the show and from the time that I left my family's company, like I always looked for permission to do something. So like I'd had this like idea of something I wanted to do, but I'd be pandering for permission, whether it was from friends or family or something like that, just looking for somebody else to support it. And now, like, I don't really, like, it doesn't really matter to me now if somebody supports what I'm doing or not, because I trust myself, and I trust that, you know, it might not be perfect, right? At least not in the beginning or the first time around. But I've gotten enough positive feedback for what I do and how I go about doing things, that I'm confident that, like, okay, it might not be the most perfect thing in the world, but this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm confident in that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you've got a clear goal in mind already, so, you know, and it helps develop that confidence to give you the ability to say, all right, you know what, I'm done here. It's not, like you said, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. I mean, it's like, you know, a friend of mine has been trying to write a book for years, and every time I ask about it, it's like, oh, well, I have to go back and redo these chapters. It's not quite ready yet. And it's like, my friend, when are you going to just bite the bullet and send it in? Because, you know, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be you're not going to have every single syllable and phrase exactly as you want it. You're always going to look at it, oh, I should have written this differently, and I should have written that differently.
Probably have revision 2 and 3 and 4. And
you know who complains about that? Stephen King. And how many books has he written? You know,
well, what was it? George R.R. Martin asked him, like, how do you write so many books? He's like, I just keep writing. I don't stop. Like, that's all it is. And then I just go back and take it.
I used too many adjectives when I was younger. It's like, these are some, like, the all-time great horror novels I've read. Believe me, the adjectives are, nobody's worried about it. You know, you're always going to be your own worst enemy or your biggest critic, but you have to know at which point to say, I'm satisfied with it. I know this is a good product. I know this is a good show. Whatever, and just do it. Don't let hesitation hold you back.
Well, people will gravitate towards that, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I always tell people, and it is kind of ironic that I tell people to niche down when this show isn't niche, but the other shows that I have done, that I have put together, were very niched, and it's very important because you can connect with people on such a deep level very quickly, because it's exactly what they're looking for. I mean, it was brought up like, hey, there's a show, it was like 11 shows about metal detectors. 11.
I would not have guessed that.
No, I wouldn't have guessed that either. I'm guessing it's like they're also not just metal detectors like the ones you walk through, but metal detectors like metal detecting on the beach.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, probably like,
that's what I'm thinking too.
Or like, you know, what metal detector to buy from just getting started. I don't need the. But
there's 11 of them. But the reason that there's 11 of them is because people were so passionate about what it is that they're doing or they want to do, that are like, you know, I don't really care for that other show that's doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then there was 2 shows about metal detecting, guys, you know? So,
you know, Joe and Steve aren't serious about metal detectors, but Tim, he's serious. This guy's not fooling around.
Right, exactly. So, you know, but it's your personality that bleeds into it, and, and it's all that. So, that was something I had to learn early on. A friend of mine was like, look, Joe, why do people watch Ellen? And I'm like, because it's Ellen. She's like, exactly. You need to be like Ellen. You need to be that driving force for people to keep coming back and being engaged and just have a reason, because the guest isn't going to be there next week, but you will, you know? So it's stuff like that, like owning what it is, you know, owning yourself and owning the power that you possess in the first place to do what it is that you want to do. So yeah, it's not just about like, hey, everybody needs to have their own show. Like, I don't think that everyone should have their own show necessarily, unless they have a specific topic that they want to talk about, that they're so passionate about, that they don't let things hold them back. And, you know, there's so many having a podcast is not as simple as just turning on a mic. It can be, but it depends on what you're trying to accomplish with it. But so it's important to know what success looks like to you and why you're doing it and all that blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're passionate about something, it implies that you're knowledgeable about it, and people will listen. They'll take an interest, like you said earlier. They may not understand all the technical aspects of things, but if you are really familiar with the subject and something you love, you can easily make analogies that people will pick up on, and they'll be interested just because you're so excited about it. It's like, well, I never thought jelly bean making was that cool, but I almost kind of want to try it now because this person is just so...
Hey, there's that show How Stuff is Made. There's a podcast about how stuff works or whatever.
A couple of those.
There's a show on the History Channel. It's been around forever. Like how it was made. I don't know what it's called. Too tired to think about what it's called. But anyway, yeah. So 250 episodes. I don't know. It's not as much of a milestone to me as like if I hit 500 or 1,000, but it doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Just another day of the week.
It's just like my birthday. It was just another day of the week, with the exception of the party that took place on Saturday. So, and it is like like last year. You know how I celebrated my birthday last year?
How'd you celebrate your birthday?
Melissa stopped off at Chipotle, and my friend Mike came over. And we ate Chipotle, and that was how I celebrated my birthday last year, not this year. So yeah. This I look forward to going. Another 250,000 episodes, whatever. Wherever I have no plan on stopping because I feel. So passionately about what I do talk about in the show and the people that I meet and the topics that I get to discuss and like it just is a reflection of me at this point, not just my guests. So I would say figure out what it is that you love and figure it out quick. And then figure out how much time and energy you have. Because that's another thing, like, since having Ava here, like, things have changed significantly for me as far as time. It's one of the reasons I don't edit the show anymore. One of the reasons. It's not just time, it's energy. So, like, we're talking now, but, like, this isn't getting edited. This is going to go straight into the episode. And then from here, we're going to make the jump and then go right into... the interview with Anaya Wolf. I shouldn't even mention it earlier. So you're gonna want to stay tuned for that because she's a 14-year-old filmmaker who's making some really awesome stuff. You can check it out in the show notes at superjoepardo.com or dreamerspodcast.com. Go subscribe to my YouTube page because I need to get to 100 so I can finally secure youtube.com/superjoepardo. Feel free to share it. There's like 50 plus videos up there right now, and so feel free to watch some episodes, listen to some episodes, go back in time, go back to the beginning of the show and give it a listen. This is cool. This is really cool.
It's been a journey and one I don't see stopping anytime soon. I don't see what could stop you from recording more episodes. I mean, if the polar ice caps melt, I can picture you out there on a rowboat with a megaphone shouting out, it's episode 767 of the Dreamers Podcast, Joe Pardo, anyone within listening distance.
I will say this, though. I have been thinking seriously about my, now that my conference is over. We had I didn't get to chance to talk about this either. The conference was amazing. MidAtlanticPodcast.com. We had like 75 people there. Pretty much everybody had an amazing time. There's virtual tickets, so if you want to learn about podcasting or more about podcasting, you can go to MidAtlanticPodcast.com, get the virtual ticket. It's $100 right now. If you do have a podcast already, I did a private course at my house the day after the conference. I was working on 3 hours of sleep, so you can watch me be even way more tired than I am right now on this video or on this podcast if you're listening to it. And and I talk. The whole thing is about how to turn your podcast into a business. So if you go to midatlanticpodcast.com, at the top it says VIP course. You can go there. It's $147 until this Wednesday at like midnight or 2. I don't know. Sometime this Wednesday. There's a countdown thing. So whenever that goes, it's going up to $197. So you want to, if you're interested in making your podcast into a business, and you want to go through all the ways that you can go about doing that, ways that I've experienced personally and have done and worked with, to get me to the point where I am right now at 250 episodes, exhausted, out of my mind, and actually 21 minutes late for a call I was supposed to take. Yeah. So, and there's so many other things coming up. It looks like I'm going to Santa Monica, to speak, in November, and I'll be at DC Podfest. So if you're into podcasting and you're going to be in the DC area, shout out to DC Podfest. You should go. I don't know what ticket prices are. They were $100. I think they've gone up since I don't know, a couple days ago. I think, I'm not sure. You can go check it out, dcpodfest.com. I think, maybe, probably just type it in Google. You'll find it. It's like AOL keyword DC Podfest. Yeah. So that's the big things. I did apply for one speaking gig out in like St. Louis. I haven't really had a chance to apply to too many of these speaking gigs lately. But it was, if I get it, that'd be awesome. Get to go speak to a bunch of franchise owners. So we'll see. I doubt I'll get it, but you never know.
Any chance of you speaking overseas? Huh?
Overseas. I don't know if anybody's listening.
You got your UK listener base. You've got listeners in Australia. I mean,
I would love to.
That would be a huge.
Well, so what I was getting at with talking about the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference, with this year, but upcoming, my 3rd year anniversary, which was, we're still like a little ways away, but I have actually been considering the idea of like renting the same hotel that we rented for the conference this year and have for next year, which is September 9th, I think, for the podcast conference. But I was thinking about renting the hotel and doing the live show, and selling tickets and doing the fundraiser at the hotel for Give Kids the World this year, to do something different and plus it up. Third year's a charm or something like that, they say. Ideally, I would love for it to be like the 5th year, to be like, all right, now we're gonna do this. But you know what? I kind of feel like it would be cool if we could sell 50 tickets. I don't know what that would cost, how much we would donate. Like, if you're listening to this or you're watching this, shoot me a message and let me know that you're interested in this idea of like coming up to Philadelphia to check out a live show of. I was even thinking about taking it to Disney, but the thing is at Disney, it's so expensive to rent places there. Like, not outside of Disney, like Orlando, but like inside. Like, if we were like, oh, I'm gonna rent like the Atlantic Dance Hall or something like the Odyssey. Like, that's expensive. Plus, you gotta have tickets to go to Disney. Yeah. It's not ideal at all, especially since I don't have I have a Disney fan base, but it's not. This isn't a Disney show, So, I would, I'm really interested in doing it. It would be in May or April, something like that. And yeah, 3-year anniversary. Let's rent a hotel and let's rent a room at a hotel. At a hotel. No, rent the ballroom at the hotel, and we could raise money and live stream it, and it could be a lot of fun. I would love to take that project on and raise a decent amount of money. We can have dinner and everything included. So I don't know what all that looks like, but if you're interested, let me know so we can get the ball rolling, because I don't want to put all the work out and we have like 10 people show up. That would not be ideal. So, shoot me a message. And so Naya Wolf is coming up after the jump here. It's been so much fun. It's been a pleasure to be listened to. We're rapidly approaching 100,000 downloads, like very, very rapidly. So yeah, I appreciate everyone who shares the show, everyone that enjoys the show. I feel free to reach out. That's one of the reasons I do this, is to help people be better, better at themselves and better than yesterday and all that. So, and all that, I'm like so spaced out. This is real talk. Hashtag real talk over here. All right. So, yeah, shoot me a message. Go to superjoepardo.com/tube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Would love to get to 100 so I can make a URL for myself, so it doesn't have to be superjoepardo.com/tube. It could be youtube.com/superjoepardo, like everything else. This was on Facebook Live originally. And Matt, I really appreciate you taking the time tonight. I know you're tired.
I appreciate you having me on. It's, especially for this particular episode. It's really a milestone.
It is. I am appreciative to be able to be here for 250 episodes. Not going anywhere anytime soon. And like I said, we're going to be probably expanding the show to more time. I would love to get back to 5 days a week, doing mini episodes with one interview a week. I think that's the goal, but we'll see. I got a lot doing. I mean, Ava's sitting here kicking around on the camera over here, so that's no bueno. No bueno. Actually, it's like really weird. Like the camera is going crazy over here. Oh my god, look at this. Like, look, it's like jumping frames, so it looks very like haunted or something. I don't know. Everything's broken tonight. All right, well, stay tuned. So after the jump, Anaya Wolf, 14-year-old filmmaker from Philadelphia. It's actually the daughter of Travis Wolf, who was on last week. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go back to episode 248 and listen to that episode, because that episode, I was literally crying, sitting across from him here in the studio. Listening to him tell his story about how he got to be a cop, and what inspired him to be a cop through dealing with racism and really, really bad family life. So yeah, go back, listen to episode 248, Travis Wolf. All right, well, thank you everyone, and I will see you after the jump for the interview. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Joe.